Morning, everyone. Welcome back to our next community AMA or developer AMA or AMA. It's an AMA. My name is Marty, also known as Alcatraz. I'm the lead designer at Raini Studios, working on our flagship title, The Lords of Light. How are we doing today, everyone?
Very well, thank you.
Also well. Good to see you guys. Good to be here.
So I'm just quickly putting a message.
How are you, Marty?
Telegram. Yeah, I'm pretty good. Pretty good. I thought like I normally try to do it in the 30-second countdown, and I can't do it in the 30-second countdown, and I've made this mistake for like the past 6 months, thinking, oh yeah, I can put the quick announcement out during the 30-second countdown. So I'm gonna do what I always do and put the announcement out during the 30-second countdown.
Maybe instead of your morning Sudoku puzzles, you should do like sprints of
Oh.
just trying to get all these announcements out in 30 seconds so you're prepped for next week.
Well,
Snap.
No, the problem is the Sudoku World Cup qualifiers are on at the moment. So I was up at like 5 a.m. this morning. It's 10 a.m. Sydney time here. Because all the World Cup qualifiers, you hit a link and it sends you like the puzzle, and you've got 45 minutes to set. You have to basically send back one. They randomly pick one of the 9 rows, and you don't have to send the whole solution. You just send like that row basically. But yeah, basically smashing out like some of the most interesting like puzzle Sudokus I've ever seen. If you have never tried puzzle Sudokus before, hit me up on Telegram and I'll send you some links of some good ones to. There's a whole bunch of what we call gas Sudokus, genuinely approachable Sudokus. But yeah, there's some really interesting stuff going on there in the puzzle Sudoku space.
It sounds like serious business, mate.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, I don't know about using the Rainy Telegram to promote what is technically a competitor. We're in the attention economy. That's another game, right?
Well, I mean, as long as people
Conflict
are
of
hanging
interest.
out in our Telegram, like it doesn't really matter what they're talking about. Hopefully, they talk about our game. And I mean, as of Saturday, it's much easier to find our game as well. So as hopefully everyone has seen, our page is now live on the Epic Game Store. So we are getting dangerously close to being a real game. RTLOL.
Can you guys tell how many people have clicked on add me to the wish list thing?
I can. It is a number that it's actually a higher number than what I was expecting. So very happy in that regard. Yeah, it is more than we would normally get in a weekly tournament. I can say that much at least. I don't want to go into specific numbers on AMAs. But yeah, no, it's good. And obviously the great thing with those wish lists too is they grow over time. We also get, if you tick the box, we actually get your email address so we can email updates to everyone that does wish list. So if you haven't done so already, you can actually do it really easily by going to, I'll put this in chat while we talk. Where's my chats? It is bit.ly/play-rtlol. So if you go to that page right there, you will see something that looks like this. So that's us live on Epic. The awesome launch trailer that the team put together looks really cool. Make sure you turn the music on too. It obviously doesn't play music by default, but there's a really cool little soundtrack behind it, which is really cool. And obviously, yeah, you can hit add to wish list over here, which will wish list the game for you. And then the other big thing that I guess we announced at the same time is right there. So our soft launch, or Season 0, as we're calling it internally, will launch on the 24th of July. And obviously that will be across both Mac and PC platforms. So yeah, very, very excited. As everyone in the community would know, it's been a long road to get to this point. But yeah, we're super excited to bring RTLOL to the wider gaming community and let everyone enjoy it.
Nice. Congratulations. That's great.
But yeah, probably jump into some questions. We'll smash out some questions. I think a lot of the stuff we'd probably want to talk about would be question related. And we also have a giveaway to do as well at some point too.
Nice. I suppose just like a lot of the questions initially would be after the announcement, 24th. the talk of Season 0, and obviously Photon not launching at the same time, but sort of coming on progressively over the next month or something. Basically, there's questions like, what will players do for a month without Photon, and how does that Season 0 sort of system work?
Yeah, cool. It's a good question. So our plan. So I'm going to break that up into a few. There's like you just asked like 45 questions. So I'm just going to break it up into like some bite-sized chunks. So let's talk about what Season 0 is basically, and what players can expect on the 24th of this month. So our normal Battle Pass seasons are being set up to run over a 3-month period. The first, like Season 0, we're going to do it over a month. So we're basically going to consolidate it right down into a 1-month season. And like I said, we're calling it kind of like our early access, our soft launch. It's the first time we'll be available on Epic. As you'll see when you get into the game, there's a lot of new systems that have been built. There's the whole new Battle Pass system. There's daily quests. There's XP. There's new leaderboards. There's a heap of different things in there that we just want to make sure we've got right. So it's kind of like in the same way we've been testing the game with our community over the past year or two. Season 0 is our chance to test all of these new engagement and retention features to make sure we've got them right before we do our full launch in August. And then that's when we're going to kick in the full marketing plan. That's where Photon kicks in. And that's obviously where everything has to be right by that point. So the reason why Photon won't be available until that full launch date, honestly, it comes down to the nature of the blockchain. Photon being an on-chain token, it will be immutable. If we get that wrong, then we've got to live with that for the next 10 years. And basically constantly have to try and work within that. All we have to do, I know some other gaming tokens have just recently scrapped their, I'm not going to name names, but they scrapped their V1 token, introduced a V2 token, which caused a whole heap of strife in their communities and stuff like that. We obviously want to try and avoid doing that where possible. So yeah, like I said, Season 0 is our way of basically stress testing every single thing that we've built up to this point. What we're also doing is there'll be a welcome bundle that will be available for people to basically pick up for free. There'll be a free welcome bundle and a paid welcome bundle that you can basically pay for with Lux or Fiat. But yeah, in the free welcome bundle, there will be a 300% XP boost available to players. And like I said, that's free to pick up. You can grab it on day one. And the idea basically is that allows us to test a 3-month battle pass over a month. So we're just going to basically triple all the XP rewards that you'll be getting for that first month, basically. Which again is super important for us from a data analytics perspective. And I know like the other designer we've been working with and myself, we're super keen to start seeing all the numbers basically start flowing in. Again, just to make sure we've got the balance right. We've tried to do a relatively easy progression battle pass. Most players, if they play, maybe an hour a day, shouldn't have it. Oh, sorry, I should actually clarify that. The full battle pass will have 50 main levels that you can unlock. The actual XP progression throughout the battle pass is what's called a linear progression. So it's not like some other games where like the amount of work it takes to go from level 1 to level 10 is very small, but then it gets exponentially bigger as you go. And you get to like level 30 and all of a sudden trying to get to even level 31 is like this massive grind. That's kind of like a rat and the cheese design to go that way. So we're doing just linear progression. So the amount of XP you require to go from level 1 to level 2 is the exact same as what you need to go from level 49 to level 50. So it's as fair as possible, obviously, is how we've tried to make it. So there's 50 main levels to the Battle Pass. And then basically level 51 plus is just a recurring level system. So you can keep earning if you choose to do so. And there will be a small reward every time you kick up in the levels. But the main rewards will be from level 1 to level 50, basically. So that's where people will really find we've sort of consolidated the bulk of the rewards. Like any good engagement system or any good battle pass system, there's like ebbs and flows. So you'll find some parts like we just smash you with some really awesome rewards. Then it slows down a little bit, gets a bit more normal. On the free battle pass, like there's actually some levels. I don't think there's any in the first 10, but like towards the end, there's like some blank levels on the free battle pass. But the Lux tier will always have a reward at every single level. And important to keep in mind as well, you actually don't have to unlock the battle pass day one if you don't want to. I mean, the free battle pass, I can't really think why someone would choose not to do that, but it's up to you guys. But we will start calculating your XP from day one regardless. So, for example, if you earn enough XP to be at level 10 and then you unlock the battle pass, we'll actually grant you all of the rewards from level 1 to level 10, just bang, all at once. Which is really cool. And we actually just added in this week a redeem all button, because in testing we realized like, oh, there might be some people that maybe don't choose to engage the battle pass early on, but then towards the end of the season they realize, well, I've earned like 40 levels worth of rewards. I may as well grab it and claim all those rewards. But especially from season 1 onwards, when we have the free tier, the Lux tier, and the Photon tier of the battle pass, that's like up to 120 rewards you'd have to keep claiming. So yeah, we just added a claim all rewards button there that basically just dumps them all into your account all at once, just to make it a little bit easier. So yeah, so does that sort of, I guess, Draz, if you have any questions, I guess you can ask on behalf of the community, I guess. But yeah, so the idea of that, season 0 or the soft launch month, it means we can stress test all of our systems. It means that we can check that we've got all the numbers correct before we start actually granting on-chain rewards, just to make sure the economy design is bang on. Because there'd be nothing worse, obviously, than getting that math wrong and either be paying out too much or not enough rewards to our players based on what they're actually doing in the game. I've stunned him into silence.
Yeah, you still there, Ray?
Oh, sorry, guys. Had my headphone on mute. I'm chatting away here, and nothing's coming out. Sorry, I was going to say.
I just assumed it was like just stunned silence. So yeah, like that's cool. That's
wow,
a good sign.
He said it all. We can all go home. No, fantastic.
Cool.
No,
all right,
sorry.
everyone. We'll
Yeah. No, people were asking, I suppose, with regard to the season 0 and obviously Photon not actually being there, but the rewards that you're earning, because other rental of cards, of faded cards, operational at the beginning. Is there any Photon or X-Photon being accumulated in the background that will be applied, or the reward systems, are they all non-Photon sort of stuff for the first season, just other stuff? Soulbound cards, all that sort of stuff?
So with the battle pass, the plan at this stage for season 0, so like I said, there's a free tier and a Lux tier. We're not turning on the Photon tier for season 0 for obvious reasons. If you don't have Photon, you can't buy the Photon battle pass, so there's no point turning it on for season 0. At this stage, the plan is that most of the rewards we do for the free tier, actually no, I think in season 0, all the free tier rewards are like soulbound based rewards. In the Lux tier, the current plan, and you'll find out more about this tomorrow potentially. Stay tuned, keep an eye on our socials. We've got some announcements coming up this week. The plan at this stage is that we are working with a partner who will make it very, very easy for us to give out on-chain rewards. So there will be a couple of on-chain rewards in that Lux tier battle pass. They won't be, so the Photon tier will always be that super exclusive, like Web3 focused reward tier. So the Lux tier, while we're looking at doing some on-chain rewards, they're more going to be, say, things which we can mint as many as we need to. So think, they could be like card backs or alternate art or, things like that. Whereas things that, say, have a certain like addition or a certain like limit to how many we would choose to mint, like promo cards or collectible card packs, they will generally always be exclusive to that Photon tier battle pass, which will kick in from season 1 onwards. Yeah, so trying to balance out, making sure we're giving lots of rewards, but doing it in a way that respects the Web3 economy at the same time is what we're sort of trying to drive towards there. And I guess the other thing you quickly just mentioned was around like X-Photon. So until Photon is fully live, you'll still keep earning X-Photon in the way you are at the moment. And then when Photon is live, that's when we'll sort of switch everything over and start paying out like the Photon rewards for that X-Photon token and give you other opportunities to earn Photon as well.
Are you able to, or have you worked out the conversion factor from X-Photon to Photon at the moment? Are you able to say that yet, or not? We're just going to wait, obviously. After
so we're going to be posting a medium this month, I'd say, with like a full breakdown. I know there were a lot of questions about that as well.
Yeah.
looking for like all of the specific numbers on the tokenomics. Yeah, so last month we posted like a high level introductory overview as to like how some of the earning systems will work. But this month the plan is to drop all of the details for the people who want to dive into the numbers, and that'll all be there.
Could those numbers change with what you find out in season 0?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the benefits of doing a trial run.
Yeah.
So this is one thing. Yeah, I mean, I know you were kind of like backing us up in Telegram over the weekend, but people tend to take everything written in a medium or a white paper as the word of gospel. Like it's not going to change. It's not on the blockchain. It's not immutable yet. So we will do whatever makes sense based on the data that we have coming in from season 0. But at least we want to give people a bit of time to familiarize themselves with the numbers and start preparing. Also, it's good opportunity to get some feedback on what we're proposing. Yeah, so the plan is for this month's medium to cover all of that, which gives plenty of time before the Web3 layer of the game is introduced and the Photon token launches in August.
Is there are you able to sort of say what the cost of like the Lux Battle Pass would be in
Yep.
fiat money, converting to Lux?
Yeah, so I mean, we've outlined this in previous AMAs and mediums, but obviously so in game there is coins, which is a what we refer to as a soft currency. So you can't actually buy coins directly. They're your main reward for doing like first win of the day bonuses and daily quests and stuff like that. And coins can buy some base level items within the game. Lux sits above that as the premium in-game currency. That's the one you can either buy through the Epic Game Store by swiping the credit card or any of the payment methods that they offer, or using. So Epic actually, one of the cool things, I'm not sure people are aware of this. Every time you make a purchase on Epic, they actually have like a 5% cashback. So you actually earn like Epic credits. So, for example, you might buy, a copy of Cyberpunk, something like that, and you get 5% of that as credits that you can put towards something else. So you could actually theoretically, but just be by buying other games on Epic, or people that maybe play Fortnite or stuff like that, they'll actually be earning credits that they can also convert into Lux as well, which is pretty cool. And obviously, Photon will be able to be converted over to Lux for the people that are earning Photon. At the moment, it comes down to which of the Lux bundles that you buy. But the cost of the Lux Battle Pass is about $20 US. Like I say, it fluctuates a little bit depending on which bundle you actually buy. And we've calculated out that Lux tier, if you were to hit all 50 levels, has just over $200 US worth of value that you're getting.
Nice.
So not a bad 10-to-1 return on your investment. We're hoping that will be sort of roughly the sort of value proposition that we'll be putting into the Battle Pass every season. But obviously, yeah, we'll look at player feedback. We'll look at how far into the Battle Pass on average players are getting. And then obviously we can adjust each season based on those sort of numbers that we look at. We've obviously tried to make sure that the rewards are spread fairly evenly throughout the whole 50 levels of the Battle Pass. There is like level 1. Actually, I've actually got the spreadsheet open here somewhere on my desktop. But like, just theoretically, before you even play a game, if you choose to unlock it straight away, you automatically unlock like the level 1 rewards, which are like we've put some pretty good stuff right there basically you can get straight away, including some unique cosmetics that you can't get any other way.
Nice.
Because again, if you're going to support us by buying the Battle Pass, we want to give you some cool shit basically. And then obviously level 50 has a big prize at the end. Actually, I can say level 50 of the free Battle Pass tier unlocks the following month's Lux tier on the Battle Pass. So theoretically, you could choose to grind, the free tier for a month or for the 3 months like a normal season, and then we'll unlock the premium one for you the following month as well. The plan at this stage, as I said, these may change. Please don't hold me to this, but the plan that we are hoping to do at this stage is that level 50 on the free Battle Pass tier will always be the unlock for the premium of the following season. So theoretically, yeah, you could just if you just wanted to, head down and grind, you could have that Lux tier unlocked every single season with never spending a cent. So
yeah,
which is pretty
that's
cool.
excellent. It just encourages people to play, obviously, through the levels as well. The
Yeah.
$200 of US value that you generate through the 50 levels, how would a Web 2 player realize that $200? Is there an in-game market? An in-game marketplace?
So when I say there's like $200 plus of value, the way we're calculating that is we're basically looking at if you were to buy Lux at the best possible rate that you can through the Epic Game Store, how much Lux would you have to buy to unlock everything that we're giving you? The math gets a bit weird because some of the stuff on there, like some of the exclusive stuff, you can't buy like for any amount of Lux. We're doing some soulbound packs that you'll never be able to buy. You have to unlock through the battle pass, and we're doing some, like I said, exclusive cosmetics that hopefully will have an on-chain element for some of those as well. So yeah, it's hard to sort of put a dollar value to those, but just purely if you just wanted to collect, just like looking at all the things you could buy through the store for Lux, it would cost you over $200 at the best exchange rate to buy all of the stuff that we're giving you on that battle pass. So
okay,
yeah, and then obviously there will be some on-chain elements for that. Like I said, everyone will be able to unlock. And as I said, there'll be more details around how exactly we're doing that, hopefully coming out later on this week. And then that photon tier of the battle pass, if you are a serious like RTLOL collector, for like NFT cards and such like that, that will be the tier that you want to be on. Where we're going to be obviously paying out like primarily on-chain rewards in that particular tier.
People have asked, will all the cards be unlocked in Season 0? Is Soulbound operating in that point?
Yep. Yeah. So, and this is also why it's good in a way that we're doing this like switch over to the Epic Game Store. So when we go live on Epic, everyone will have a completely fresh player account. So we're literally, actually, we're not even wiping the old accounts. We're hanging on to them for the value of the data and like being able to study everyone's like behavior and how people were playing and game details and stuff like that. But we're basically moving everything onto like a fresh database. So the idea basically there is that like your current like Draz account that you have for the game at the moment will unfortunately get left behind. That means your play history, leaderboards, your everything is just basically going to be completely fresh when you move over. And then on your new account, all the base cards will be unlocked obviously from day one. We haven't got the page live yet, but you'll be able to go to the player profile page on RTLOL.com and link any of your wallets that contain collectible cards. They'll all come across on day one as well, obviously, with some pretty cool visual effects. So you'll be able to tell which cards are soulbound and which cards are on-chain. And you'll be able to pretty much start collecting soulbound cards from that point forward. Obviously, we're going to do some things to make it pretty easy for players to get some cards to get up and running as quickly as possible. So in the same way that currently in the game, there's a couple, excuse me, there's a couple of pre-made decks that you like. I think there's 4 in the current build that are set up for like newer players just to be able to get into the game. We've mentioned theme decks, haven't we? I think I mentioned them in the one of the mediums.
Before, yeah,
cool. Yeah, so we're setting up a system called theme decks. Theme decks basically give you a 40-card deck that you can just unlock and play as is. The important distinction with a theme deck, or 2 important things to keep in mind. 1, it doesn't actually unlock the cards within it, and the theme deck cannot be edited in any way. So if you're playing with a theme deck, you're playing with a set list of 40 cards. But obviously the benefit there is it means that players can get in. There are also decks, because they've been designed to be like good or very approachable for new players. They're not going to be at the top end of the difficulty curve or the power curve. So the theme decks, I mean, most of the ones we've got at the moment, we're still testing the actual final lists, but most of them have like 1 or 2 legendaries. I think one of them has a mythic, but that's pretty much it. Like most of them are made with like rares or lower cards. Just keeping in mind, like through game design, like we design We design difficulty and complexity based on rarity in some regards as well. If you look at some of like the legendaries and the mythics, while they are the most powerful cards in the game, they can be some of the most difficult cards to fully understand how you should play them. So these theme decks are definitely more skewed towards the new players being able to come in. Just by finishing the tutorial, you'll actually get 2 theme deck tokens. You can go straight into the store and unlock 2 of the theme decks. You can pick any of the ones that you like. There'll be 7 at launch, 1 for each colored hero. So pretty much there's no reason why a new player can't get in and start playing the game straight away. Those theme decks should make it pretty easy for them to like at least try 2 different kinds of decks out and enjoy the game. As they start playing, they'll start unlocking coins, they'll start unlocking tiers like XP, so tiers in at least the free battle pass, which they can then use to have access to some other like soulbound packs and cards. So we've tried to really balance things out so that new players have a very approachable sort of experience in the game. But obviously, for the players that have their current collections, can bring those straight across and build whatever crazy decks you want. Start grinding the leaderboards, do all that good stuff basically.
Can you buy levels with Lux?
So when you buy the Lux Battle Pass, there's a once-off offer at that point. So I can tell you this: the Lux tier will be 4,000 Lux, or for 6,400 Lux, you actually can unlock the Lux tier and we give you 10 levels. So basically it's like a head start or a boost basically to get yourself going. That's completely optional. The battle passes are designed to be relatively completable in the time period that you have. It's that, and again, this is one of the things we want to test in season 0 to make sure we've got our numbers right. We want the battle pass to feel completable, but it shouldn't be too easy. Like if you're playing maybe an hour a day, a couple of days a week, you should get pretty close to finishing the battle pass in the time that you have. But yeah, we wouldn't want it where you unlock the battle pass and you grind for 4 hours and it's all done. Like that defeats the purpose of having it there. As I said, we look at battle passes as a engagement tool. It's basically, if you're going to spend your time learning and playing our game, we want to make sure that you are being rewarded for doing so. And we want to try and have as many different kinds of rewards to suit different kinds of players. And the Battle Pass obviously is one of the big ones that we're focusing on for the launch.
What's an example of obviously generating XP and things like that? But I'm fall back to thinking about Fortnite, for example, because it's a similar sort of a setup. But go to this spot and collect this many things, or you have things like use such and such a card in a combination, or what sort of, and that's out there in front of people that they know what they're aiming for.
Yeah, so there's a mixture. Actually, this is an interesting question, actually, because this has been a thing that we've been discussing literally like 2 hours ago. So there's a mixture of rewards that you get for daily wins. So we actually have there's a first win of the day bonus. So every 24 hours, we reset the clock. Your first win, you actually get a bonus. I think it's 50,000 XP. And a level is 100,000 XP. So pretty much if you log in and you play every day, and you literally just play one game and that's it, you would unlock 3.5 levels just straight off the bat. And then, 12 weeks, 3.5 levels, do the math. It's actually you could pretty much unlock the battle pass just playing one game a day relatively consistently if you won that first game. So we're doing those. That reward for just daily wins scales down. So up to your first 15 wins of the day will get rewards for that. At launch for season 0, we're actually just leaving it at that. And the reason for that basically is the more different ways we have for you earning XP, the harder it is for us to actually track how well people are progressing through the battle pass. So we're keeping basically for season 0, it's a very simple system. Win, you get XP and a small amount of coins. So super simple in that regard. From season 1, we're kicking in the daily quest system, which I think is more what you're referring to there, where we're going to give you set tasks to complete on a daily basis. So you'll get 3 daily quests each day. You can lock the quest, which basically means that when we reset them every 24 hours, that one won't reset. It's important for us to do that because it means we can actually put some bigger daily quests in and dangle some really big rewards. So we might put one in which is play 50 games, which no one's going to do that in a day, but you might do it over, say, 2 or 3 days. So it's up to you. If you could either, lock it or just let that one, go, and we'll generate obviously a new one for you the following day. To give you an idea of some of the sort of like quests that we've got in the system at the moment, you've got all the sort of standard ones, which is play X games, win X games. There's like play X, like red minions, red spells, rainbow spells, stuff like that. So the goal of those is basically to try and get people a little bit out of their comfort zone and encourage them to play different colored decks or different cards, or hopefully start moving towards rainbow decks, which would be really cool.
Mm.
There's going to be stuff in there, like, gain X gems, heal, X health, deal X damage. So it's very, a lot of the stuff we're building out at the moment, it's very gameplay dependent, but in a positive experience way. One of the biggest traps that some designers will fall into, and there's so many games throughout history you can look at that have fallen into this trap, primarily with achievements, but also moving into like quests and event rewards and stuff like that, is you want to make sure that any quest because if I dangle a quest out in front of you and say, hey, do this, we'll give you 500,000 XP, all of a sudden it actually doesn't matter if what we're asking you to do is fun or boring. You're going to do it anyway because the XP is what you're actually driving towards. So if I put a quest in, lose 10 games, and get a reward, people will literally build decks, full of, say, crypto bands or cards that damage yourself to deliberately try to lose the game, which it's a horrible experience for the player. It's a horrible experience for your opponent when they realize that they're trying to play a game and win, and they realize their opponent is literally trying to lose. It's just a really negative experience all around. So yeah, we're always going to make sure that any quests, any achievements, all those sort of systems we build, it's something that you're going to enjoy doing. Yeah, we might try and get you a little bit out of your comfort zone. We might look, and again, we've got some like really cool like machine learning stuff on the back end that generates the actual quests. So if we notice, that Draz always plays with red decks, we're going to dangle one out there of play 10 yellow minions. And why that's really cool is because as well as I do, red yellow is a really great combo to play together. And we're going to sort of use quests to try to show that to players. Whereas, maybe if maybe if we notice you play purple heaps, but you just never play any of the banish cards, maybe then we'll give you a quest of banish 10 minions. Because it's still in the color you like, it's still in the playstyle that you generally like, but we're just like, hey, like, here's some other cards in purple that you haven't tried yet. Like, maybe give these a try. So yeah, we're always going to try and make sure that they're complementary to the play experience that we're giving. We'll never generate a quest for you that can't be achieved. So you'll probably never see a quest which is like, play 10 mythics or something like that, because there'll be players who are in their account, they don't have any mythic cards.
Or beat Nemesaur or Huncho or
actually, who's climbing the leaderboards at the moment? I saw Robux, and no one
everyone's trying to find out who Robux is.
Yeah. I told you, it's actually like it's the devs. Like we're just it's how we can play. I'm joking. It's not us. I should stress that we can't play that well.
It's definitely not me.
Yeah, but we may do a daily quest. Like, say for example, there's a Blue Mint tournament coming up. Absolutely, we'll do a daily quest of play one tournament. And you can keep it there and play a tournament, or you can let it reset the following day. There's a really cool like full event tracker and news system in the client now, which is awesome. Like we had that little scrolling bar at the bottom, which I think is still actually there. But yeah, there's a full news system, there's a full event system, which will show you like upcoming tournaments, upcoming events. Like we're really trying to do everything we can to make sure that anyone who plays RTLOL is fully aware of all of the other things going on in the Rainiverse, basically. So there's a lot of cool systems there as well. But yeah, hopefully that sort of answers the question roughly of what we're trying to do with daily quests. As I said, you won't see them in 2 weeks. You'll see them from the start of season 1. And yeah, the reason for that, just plain and simple, is we need clean data to analyze during season 0, so that we can so that we know exactly where we need to sort of dial it in for season 1. because yeah, it's one of those things. If we get the math wrong and it's either too easy or too hard to progress through the battle pass at a good rate, both of those are just not a great experience for the player. So we need to sort of hit the nail on the head for that season 1 pass.
Sure. A lot of those previous questions were from Nemesaur, but he's asking another one. Is the progression system in place in season 0? And the leaderboards and card ownership rewards. There's a few there, sorry. Card ownership rewards? Are they season 1?
At this stage, that one is still a maybe. We're still building out some of the back-end systems we need to track full card ownership and making sure we get the right data for that. But hopefully that's all ready to go in time. Just honestly, BNB chain has been the main reason why that's been a struggle. Because obviously, all the fun you guys are having trying to mint cards on that chain, we're having the same issues trying to test on that chain.
Right.
And even worse, we're using the BNB testnet. You reckon mainnet is bad? Go try testnet and play around with that. I had a full head of hair a week ago, man. It's crazy. But yeah. At this stage, the plan is that we'll have all those reward systems in place so that we can start paying out the rewards at the end of season 0, which coincidentally is also when Photon kicks in. But yeah, as I said, regardless of when those systems turn on, you'll still be earning X Photon rewards up to that point in time. So it'll be hopefully a relatively smooth transition between the two sort of incentive programs.
Yeah, I think that's fair. No pressure on season 0. Just let it be what it is. Sorry, the leaderboard, is that kicked in from the beginning?
Yep. So at this stage, there'll be 2 leaderboards visible from the start of season 0, which is your eternal and your seasonal leaderboards. If we don't have the on-chain reward systems in place for season 0, at the very least, we will make sure we do something for the top leaderboard performers, like on those leaderboards at the end of season 0, whether it be soulbound rewards or whether it be Tempest packs or something like that. Like either way, players who play during season 0, we will do everything we can to give you guys a great experience and make sure that you are, whether it be through the battle pass rewards, whether it be through leaderboard stuff, we'll make sure that you're looked after, basically.
Nemesaur was also asking, in season 0, are there any features of the game that are missing? Or it's basically the full experience, but obviously just the quests obviously are different. It's simplified quests.
Yeah, simplified quests is probably the main thing. I guess to answer that, it's an interesting question. I can't answer that question at the moment because I need to see what happens in season 0. This is the interesting part of building what we refer to as a live ops game, is that I can't tell you what's going to be in the season 1 battle pass yet. I can't tell you what the XP requirements will be. I can't tell you with certainty what the quest system will look like. Because again, as I said, we're relying on the data we get from season 0 to inform us for season 1. We're going to look at the data from season 1 and use that for season 2. It's a very iterative process, and a lot of the stuff we've built under the hood. Case in point, the whole battle pass that you see in the client isn't actually built into the Unity, like the game client at all. That data does not exist. When you log into the game for the first time, we actually pull that data in fresh. And then every time you log in, we actually just ping our backend server and go, hey, I've got version 3 of this battle pass. Is this correct? And the server goes like, yep, that's correct. Or it goes, no, you've got an old version. Here's the new one. It's a really cool way of building systems because it means that from our point of view, we can iterate and test and try new things out super quick. We actually have 3 different versions of the game running at the moment through Epic. So we call them internally development, staging, and production. That's separate to the live Elixir build as well. So we test different versions of different things. So dev is basically where all the hot changes sort of are happening. That's where you'll see 2 different devs will merge their stuff together and everything breaks and we've got to go in and fix it all up and stuff like that. Staging is we think this is ready, but it needs to be tested. Staging is where our QA team most of the time lives. So they basically go through staging and try to break the game, try to break the systems. And then obviously production is when the whole system goes live, and that production is what you will see when you download the game through the Epic Game Store in a few weeks. But yeah, having the ability to roll out different versions of a battle pass, different formula for how we calculate and grant XP, all those sort of systems. Even for us on dev, we've got the ability to tick on what we call God mode, which just unlocks every single thing for the account that you're on. Can be handy for us sometimes when we just need to go, okay, cool. Like, some players are having some weird issues with some of the card backs or some of the other cosmetics. You don't want a QA or a developer to have to go in and like earn those card backs, or when there's exclusive card backs that can only be earned during the season 0 battle pass. What happens when we're in season 3 and there's a bug with a card back from season 0? It's literally impossible for us to like go back. So yeah, being able to like tick on God mode, use that for testing. That can't be turned on in production. So any accounts you see like live on Epic, like that can't be the case. Like any cards you see played, that person has earned either the soulbound or owns the collectible card. And obviously the collectible has that cool like holographic effect. So you can tell anytime someone plays a card in the game, you'll know if it's a soulbound card or it's the. Oh, sorry. Actually, sorry. Let me clarify that as well. There's a lot of stuff been happening. We're going to add this is in testing at the moment. In your player profile, you can actually tick a box, which will turn off that holographic effect for any of your collectible cards. So if there are any players who choose not to show everyone that you own collectible cards or on-chain cards, you can turn that off basically, and it will just look like regular like soulbound cards. Obviously, you'll still earn the same rewards for playing. We've done that more just as a privacy thing. Some players have reached out privately and said, "Hey, like, I've got this huge collection, but I don't want people knowing that I've got that. Even though it's all on chain, you can see everything anyway." So we'll respect that. So if you tick that box, your cards basically, like, none of your cards will have the holo shader applied to them. But by default, that will be off, and then every time you play a collectible card, then yeah, you'll get that cool holo effect there, which is cool.
Nice. Oh, like I say, a lot going on, obviously.
Yeah, it's like I said, we're 2 weeks out. Obviously we were working closely with Epic last week to get the page up. Even that, there was a lot of little tweaks and things we were doing in there as well. We were meant to go live, I think, Friday afternoon, and we realized that we weren't happy with the order of the images in the carousel. So we went in and tweaked those and moved them around a little bit, and yeah. So yeah, Epic's been great. We've been working closely with them to get everything ready for launch. We're booked in for Friday to submit a full test build to Epic, so they'll go in and they'll run all their tests that they do. Because obviously, we've mentioned this before, we're not one of the self-publishing partners on Epic. We're one of the full publishing partners. We have like an account manager. We have like access to their marketing team and stuff like that. And then yeah, once the build has gone through their approval process the first time, we actually don't have to resubmit every single time like the self-publishing games do. We can just, there's literally a button we get in our dashboard that's like just push live update and just done.
Nice.
So it happens nice and quick.
But people were asking about just the tournaments when. So at the next tournament, end of July, we're probably going to have a lot of new players. This is from Nemesaur. So how will the tournament be played? Will it be all in one day? Will it be a BO3 start, top 64, top 32?
Yeah. We're probably going to do it similar to how we did the Chubbyverse tournament. That had, I think, 64 registered players, and that ran for a reasonable length of time, like around 5 hours sort of thing. We're obviously very conscious that as we get bigger and bigger events, we'll need to make sure we're like, it can be considered an unreasonable ask to say someone, hey, you need to play for 12 hours, especially when we are like building a global community. So we're chatting with Bloom. I've got to chat with James this week actually, to work out the best way to do bigger scale events as we move forward. We may end up doing, for big events, like a flights or a replicharge system where we'll have basically like, there'll be 4 staggered, say, over maybe 2 weekends. There'll be 4 what we call replicharge events. Again, anyone can enter them, and if you make the top 8 of one of those, then you go through to like a 32 player best of 3 final that we hold like a following weekend or something like that. So basically just looking at ways we can scale the tournaments we run. Obviously, as always, a huge shout out to Blue Mint. They're absolutely incredible. If anyone's not aware, we run several tournaments every single week with Blue Mint. I believe one of them actually finished a few hours ago. It ran overnight Australian time. And obviously, we're going to do our big events with them as well. So that's obviously like the one coming up towards the end of this month. More details come out very soon around that. And yeah, as always, we try to make sure that we partner with really awesome collaborative partners. So we have some really interesting prizes up for grabs for those events, whether it be NFTs or like the Avalanche tournament, just cold hard cash. Everyone generally likes that these days.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've never heard someone really complain too much about being given given money.
I like money.
Yeah, but yeah, no, we'll keep an eye on how we can do bigger and bigger events, because obviously, like we're expecting these numbers to grow exponentially as you make them very visible to our Web2 community. One of the I don't think I can talk about this yet, Chris. Can I? The changes to
I don't know
tournament.
what you're talking about.
The changes to registering to a tournament. The meeting we had late the other night.
Yeah. I mean, we sent off. So this was something that was teased last week. Working with big organizations, there's always delays in running everything through the various bureaucracies to get sign off, and to be fair, proper preparation to make a big impact for announcements. So yeah, we're hoping to drop the announcement of the major thing very soon, but until that has been announced, I don't think we can really talk about it. Maybe next day, maybe by then
I'm
we should
hoping
have
so.
the
It's supposed to
announcement up.
the official announcement's meant to be this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I can say is we're working with a organization that will make it very, very easy for us to run big events for Web 2 and Web 3 players, which has Web 3 rewards without the Web 2 players needing to understand any aspect of blockchain, wallets, keys, MetaMask, any of that stuff.
Clever.
Yeah. So yeah, that's yeah. I mean, Chris, you saw me on that call we had with them. I was giddy because it's very very soon. Because it's a game. It's a literal game changer. How easy this will be. And when I say easy, like you literally will have to do nothing. It will be that easy. So yeah, I'm really keen to talk about that as soon as we can. But yeah, obviously as soon as we can announce that and go into details around that and the particular partnership we're referring to, we will do so.
Are all the cards? Is another question from Nemesaur. Are all the cards available unlocked at the next tournament still?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. So obviously you'll need to have cards unlocked. So we're still to be confirmed is the best answer.
Okay. All right.
So I would like to make this. Obviously, we want to start running tournaments as soon as we can, where you need to have cards owned, whether they be soulbound or collectible, to use them.
Yep.
As I've said many times, though, we're also aware that we don't want to restrict players being able to play in events because of that. Theme decks go a long way to helping that out, especially for newer players who may not be fully versed in the latest metagame and strategies and stuff like that. And we saw actually the Avalanche tournament we ran. There were a lot of players who just registered with one of the four or two of the four theme decks that we had. Well, they weren't theme decks, but the pre-built decks that were in the client. But yeah, the plan will be at some point that you will need to own the cards for most tournaments. What I've said in the past, where we want to make sure that like certain events won't be restricted, think that will be much bigger events specifically I'm referring to with that one, but it could include this first one as well. We just need to again look at the timing and being aware that if we're launching on the 24th, well, there's only one. If we're saying we hold the tournament on Epic by the end of the month, there's only one weekend there. That's not a lot of time for players to start unlocking huge things. Because keeping in mind, it's not just the new players who have to unlock enough stuff to build decks. You've also got people who have collections of collectible cards that will need to unlock the commons and uncommons from Tempest in that time as well. Because obviously like once we turn on like card ownership, no one will have access to those cards yet, because obviously we didn't mint them out on chain. So yeah, we'll definitely work out the best way to do this moving forward. Obviously we listen to feedback from the community for all these decisions as well. But yeah, this might be like one of the tournaments where we just turn on own any card to play with, just because it is so close to when the new build is going to go live on Epic.
I mean, even for those players who obviously are have very set decks and they play with them, and they're always at an advantage regardless of what cards are available, because they know the cards, and I mean it's just an extra challenge, I suppose, to be able to have to work with what you have, basically.
Yeah.
Like the theme decks and stuff. They could enter a
Yep.
theme deck tournament. They have the same cards as everybody else, but their ability to play that cards in certain ways is because of their experience.
Yeah, for sure. And I can tell you right now, I 100% am looking forward to running theme deck tournaments, where you will only be able to play with theme decks and nothing else. Because if nothing else, if you level the playing field in terms of what decks and cards are available for people to use, the cream will have to rise to the top. Like all of a sudden, it won't just come down to whoever might own the most powerful cards. That will be a really great way to run a tournament where it's very open and inclusive for newer players, because the decks are easier to pilot. But I mean, hopefully we've still got enough strategic depth, even with those more easy to play decks, where the competitive players can still like enjoy that format and yeah, still see who wins.
Yeah, that's like a lot of some sort of world tournament type events where you all get the same boat, and
Yep.
you have to do your thing with that boat, and
Mm-hmm.
the winner comes out on top.
Exactly.
So it's a great idea.
Yep.
Just from the chat here, we've got Misen just asking how often are you planning to release the new card sets? Maybe once a year or more than that. I think you have mentioned this in the past.
Yep. Yeah, the current plan at this stage, again, this is all we'll base this on player feedback, we'll base this on data, but the current plan is to do 4 new card sets per year. They will hopefully coincide for around. We'll aim for like the middle of each battle pass season. So we'll try to instead of the 3 month of the battle pass basically being all the same, we'll try to mix it up by dropping new sets like there in the middle. If we can get the timing right on all those, that should be pretty fun. At this stage, the plan is to do 2 large sets or 2 full sets and 2 mini sets. So 7DS being an example of a mini set, and Tempest or Genesis being an example of a full set. Obviously, the next set that's currently in design and development is Formations, which we're hoping to have out this year, and that will be a full set as well.
Nice. Just going down the list here, do people for Byzantine Ruler, do people who buy the Lux Battle Pass get it for free for the following month if they reach level 50?
Yep. So the idea of the Battle Pass tiers is they combine together. So theoretically, to answer your question as asked, if you only bought the Lux tier, which like sits in like the middle of the screen when you look at it, and you didn't buy the free tier or unlock the free tier, then no, you wouldn't. But you can unlock as many of the tiers as you wish. So the idea would be that, like, I would assume everyone would unlock the free tier. I think at the moment we've set it up. It costs like 1 coin to unlock it, and that's literally just because we want, like, the way the system works. The transaction needs to have something going the other way. But I mean, yeah, you like literally play a game and you'll have a coin, so that's fine. So you unlock the free tier. Then if you choose to buy the Lux tier, that means every time you reach a new level, you're not only getting the Lux rewards, you're also getting what the free reward tier has as well.
Nice.
So you basically get both. And then, yeah, if you were then, say, from season 1 onwards, if you chose to get the Photon Battle Pass, you would get all 3 in that particular level. As I said, some levels won't have rewards. So, for example, there are some levels at the free tier it's just blank at that spot. The Lux tier, though, all 50 levels, there is something there. What actually is there, and the value does go up and down a little bit. So, just as a pure example, like level 32 of the Lux tier might just be like 500 coins, or it might be Lux, or it might be a card pack, or it might be like there's a whole heap of different rewards, and we've tried to sort of balance it out to make it as enjoyable as possible to work through that that tier. Whether you're working through the free tier, whether you're working through the free and the Lux, or from season 1 onwards, if you're working through all 3.
Nice. The just from Kieran Hathorn, when will the new Raini liquidity pool go live, and will it be easier to earn unicorns than it is currently, etc.?
Shout out to Kieran. He's a fantastic tech recruiter who has helped us grow the Rainy team in the past. Yeah, so with the liquidity pool, we will be replacing the current LP pools that we have with new pools that will actually earn you Photon. So rather than just earning unicorns, which are reward points that can only be used for discrete drops, you'll be earning the top tier of the currency for the game and the on-chain currency. That will happen. It's due to go live at the start of season 1, so end of August after we finish season 0. But completely understand and appreciate it is pretty complicated to get into the world of LP provision and staking LP tokens rather than just straight tokens. We will get a brief guide to help participate in the new staking pools ready for their launch. So that should make it easier step by step if you want to be participating in the liquidity pool and earning Photon from season 1.
In the liquidity pool, sorry, are we still getting unicorns as well, or they're just replaced by Photon?
So the plan at this stage is to replace rainbows and unicorns with Photon, but still have a bunch of stuff that you can spend rainbows and unicorns on moving forward. So you've got an opportunity now to bank as many as you can for future drops. Just we don't want to be having a system where people have accumulated large balances of rainbows and unicorns and then have no way to redeem them on anything. But by the same token, we're pretty confident that there's going to be, a great amount of value from Photon that we don't need to continue the rainbow and unicorn point systems beyond season 1.
Okay. So rainbows and unicorns disappear potentially after season
Well,
1.
they're not going to disappear, just new. It's probably going to be something like after a point in time, you won't be able to, because it's hard coded into the old contracts. It's just going to be, we're going to disable bridging to the Rainiverse, and all redemptions of rainbows and unicorns are from Rainiverse points. So it operates the same. Any rainbows and unicorns you have in the Rainiverse at that point when we disable it, you'll be able to spend on future drops. We're going to have like pools that are allocated. But yeah, we want to move to a system where we're rewarding LP providers with Photon rather than unicorns, and even just staking Rainy directly. This is the big thing. Rather than just owning rainbows, you will earn Photon if you just stake your Rainy directly. That's the big change. You're going to be earning the premium currency for the game, which can be spent on a whole bunch of stuff rather than just the occasional NFT drops.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably more consistent. But so sorry, that is, so after a period of time, the generation of rainbows and unicorns stops, replaced by the earning of Photon. You can still use those, whatever you've got left of rainbows and unicorns on drops, but at some point that's going to disappear because people are going to run out, obviously, over time, would they? Because there's no new generations.
It's just like a gradual.
The best way to think of it, and this is obviously important for anyone who has rainbows and unicorns to understand. While there are people who have rainbows and unicorns, there will always be things to redeem rainbows and unicorns on. For example, if there are still significant people sitting on rainbows and unicorns, we will make sure that every new set still releases rainbow and unicorn packs, as an example. We see it as a way of rewarding our earliest supporters, while still transitioning everything over to the new systems that will be much more sustainable moving forward.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, if you have rainbows and unicorns, you will 100% get to spend them or raffle them or auction them or whatever you choose to do. If anything, when we do switch everything over to Photon, then the auctions get interesting because, as everyone starts running out of rainbows and unicorns, packs might start dropping really, really cheap. So will people start hanging on to them? Well, yeah, there'll be some interesting gamification around that, I guess. But yeah, no, we'll definitely, like I said, rainbows and unicorns are our OG Rainy supporters. You guys will be looked after.
All right. SJ Reddy, I think in the Telegram, maybe asked, will all Rainy holders get the Photon airdrop? That was, I think, said in the medium a long time back.
So yeah, again, what I would suggest there is just keep an eye out for the medium this month, which is going to lay out all of the tokenomics for Photon, including like specific numbers and everything.
Sure. He was also asking about obviously the Photon launch, but we know when that's coming. And when can new players buy Photon? Obviously, that's again after the launch. And also, any plans to list Photon on exchanges, or it'll be sort of decentralized initially, obviously?
Yeah, the plan is just for initially decentralized liquidity pools. Yeah, we actually had some people reaching out who had some tokens locked on a centralized exchange that listed Rainy without any involvement from us. So I would say be very cautious using any centralized exchange to store your tokens anyway. I appreciate that, you know, it can be lower cost and lower barrier to buy and sell tokens, but yeah, the old adage rings as true now as it always has: not your keys, not your crypto. So just be careful about storing anything on a centralized exchange. The plan for Photon though is to be listed on a decentralized exchange liquidity pool though.
And just yeah, I guess to follow up on that, we have had a lot of messages recently from some members of the Rainy community who this particular central, I'm not going to name them because you shouldn't have stuff with them. They've paused withdrawals and transfers. Yeah, unfortunately, there's nothing we can do from our side. This exchange didn't talk to us at all before like listing our token. They've obviously just bought a bunch themselves and have chosen to add it to what they offer. So yeah, unfortunately, it's nothing that we have the ability to influence. You just need to contact their customer service and see what happens from there. Unfortunately.
Yeah, well, that's just say the problem with centralized exchanges. I suppose you're sort of at their mercy a fair bit, aren't you? You've seen people halt withdrawals on the bigger ones as well at times. So decentralized, you're still in control, really.
Yeah.
I think just personally, I think your model there of the Lux, the Web2 players being able to buy Lux with fiat dollars is fantastic, really. And I don't know, that's probably something fairly unique, I suppose, to a Web3 project, that you're generating revenue from Web2 gamers. I mean, if you imagine $20 US dollars for one of those, you get 1,000 players, there's $20,000 a month that goes into the coffers of the studio to generate. And I mean, I would love to see thousands of players buying that sort of stuff every month just to give you guys the money to do, you know, some incredible things. I imagine I think it's fantastic to have a business model set up like that, where you can generate some money outside of the Web3 style of thing. It's really well
it's
done.
interesting. It's interesting how few Web3 projects actually generate revenue. It's just, it blows my mind sometimes looking at the fundamentals. A lot of that is not really analyzed during a hyped bull market. But once you get into the depths of a bear market like we're in now, it's really important to have that fundamental sustainability in your model. You can't just be relying on, you know, boosting up a token price and then dumping it with like a fixed max supply. That's really short-sighted. So yeah, we really want to make Rainy a fantastic game over the long term. As Marty says, you know, 10-year game. In order to sustain a 10-year game, then you need revenue coming in to pay for developers and the marketing that everyone keeps pushing for. That's not free. So yeah, really important to be generating some revenue to sustain all of that.
And from people investing in Rainy Studios or buying the dollar Rainy coin, that sort of stuff, it's just an added level of security, really, that the company is, like you say, able to generate that revenue from a Web2 user who never even has to interact with the Web3 side of things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm particularly proud of this model that we've come up with because, as you said, I haven't seen it before, but it kind of gives us the best of both worlds where we are going to be, if we get a critical mass of players coming in, then we're going to be generating a whole bunch of revenue to pay for everything we need. But then every single user is going to have that carrot dangling in front of them, wherein if they choose to engage in the Web3 layer, they're going to get a bonus to the exchange rate of how much lux they get. So gradually more and more people should move over to the Web3 layer. And by doing so, they're going to be buying Photon, which boosts the price there. Photon gets rewarded back to Rainy holders who can just stake passively. And so that's the way of value accrual back to the Web3 investors who have been here through since the beginning. I mean, there's a lot of complexity in all of these like interconnected parts, but I guess if there's one way of summing it up in one sentence, it's just more players equals everyone wins. So if we can just get as many people playing the game as possible with this system, the rest should in theory take care of itself.
Yeah, and I think that battle pass idea or concept of that is the engagement tool that really is going to help a lot with that, isn't it? Earning
Yeah,
rewards.
it's at the end of the day, like we need to give players a reason to come back every day. And I mean, don't get me wrong, reason number one, hopefully, is that we've created a really fun, engaging game that's, is easy to learn, hard to master. And we've seen that. Like we've seen the skill of our like alpha and beta testers go up over time. We've seen people who, started playing the game in some of the earliest versions of it who are still happily playing it today because it's, an engaging experience. But yeah, having lots of different carrots dangling, um, allows us to engage a lot of different, like a very wide community of players as well, which is really cool. Having, a game that looks really good, that plays really smoothly, that's accessible on, whether you have a Windows computer or a Mac computer. All these things, hopefully, and down the road, whether it be an iOS or an Android device, all these things should hopefully, come together to give us that really sticky long-term tail to like our player progression, our player engagement funnel. And yeah, then there's a case of turn on the marketing machine, and what's the crypto joke? Money machine go burr. Like
Yeah. Cue
um
Jeremy Powell.
yeah. The other thing I just want to quickly mention as well, because we were talking there about how obviously like Web2 players can buy Lux just directly through like fiat, like swipe the credit card or whatever payment process Epic supports in the country you live in. Um, And obviously, if you choose to buy Lux with Photon, you'll always get you'll get more Lux than if you were to buy it any other way. But have we mentioned this before, Chris? I'm not sure if we actually have mentioned it around how Photon actually works for purchases.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure we flagged it before. So any photon that is spent in on like purchasing Lux or card packs is going to be burnt. So the photon with a fixed max supply, yes, there's going to be emissions that run over 10 years, but it is theoretically deflationary over the long term. So there's only going to be so many photon that ever exist, and then over time there'll be less and less of that, just by the nature of all of these Web2 gamers coming in, getting engaged, getting hooked on the game, enjoying it, seeing that they get a better deal if they go through Photon, buying the Photon, spending the Photon gets burnt, that Photon's gone forever. And then, so just through basic economics of demand and supply, that means the Photon price for the remaining Photon should go up.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty well all the questions that I can see in the chats and things. That someone asked about the Telegram trade group, but that's obviously open now. Master Seb
Yep.
is facilitating that.
Yep.
But
So
yeah,
just
great.
in case anyone's not aware, there's a new channel on Telegram. Just specifically if you're looking to trade cards. There's a huge disclaimer there at the top that we get you to read. That basically says like trade at your own risk, no liability. Do not send anyone private keys. Like be smart about it. But yeah, there's a lot of people obviously at the moment who are looking to trade to get their collections ready for launch. And yeah, we've tried to make that as easy as possible for you right there.
Right on.
That's one.
Cool. All right,
That's it.
easy done. Have a good week, everyone. And yeah, we'll catch you around the Rainiverse. And do I have the
Cheers, guys.
Peace out. Thanks,
Cheers.
guys.
sketches?